I want to talk about Washington, Oregon
Oh,
State.
man.
I want to talk about Washington, Oregon State. So Washington, as I said at the top, Washington hung on in a monsoon 22-20. This was not a spectacular offensive showing. And you tweeted it to me, texted it, Slacked
Your
it.
brain is social media fried. Continue.
It really is. You communicated to me through some fashion that it was like guys trying to catch a greased pig out there.
Yeah.
It just, nobody could hold on to anything, and the weather clearly played a factor in this game.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Look, Washington finds a way. Washington, they're the Huskies, but they're bloodhounds, right? They sniff out wins, and it's not always pretty.
Hey, you.
Look at this. That's pretty good, right?
That's good. I like that.
They get outgained by teams. They get, the fear of life put into them by teams late in games. You could think back to Arizona State, Stanford, all these matchups in which it's come down to it against inferior opponents. Oregon State hasn't really beaten anybody this year, but they're a quality team playing at home in the rain. It's an opportunity. They're able to possess the ball like crazy, especially in that second half where they get into a rhythm. They get off the field when Washington has the ball. I think at one point, Washington into the fourth quarter had like 6 plays under its belt in the second half. And it was a good strategy. It was a sound strategy. Unfortunately, Oregon State couldn't really throw the ball. DJU couldn't really consistently throw the ball downfield when it mattered most, when I wouldn't say there were guys open, and it's one of those, the way that Oregon State is built, they've got shorter receivers, tight end play isn't where it's been lately, and so those downfield threats, we talk about winter wonders, that's where Oregon State was lacking. If Oregon State has a true number one go-to receiver, and the way that Washington, Oregon, Arizona this season, USC last year, like if they have that guy, it's a different game. If I had wheels, I'd be a bicycle. Oregon State is not built to win a game like this, especially in the rain, especially when they're counted on to make 3rd and 9s count. And so Washington, for all of Michael Penix's flaws, he had some bad throws tonight. He connected with Rome Odunze when it counted. Dylan Johnson continues to run super well. And again, for all the flaws of Washington's defense, they find ways to get off the field when it matters, and that's when they're up 22-20 when Oregon State has the ball driving. And so a great win for Washington on the road. It keeps happening for them. And I was texting with our friend Jeff Schwartz, and he was like, they're this year's TCU, right? It's not always pretty, but winning is a skill that Washington 130% has, and it's crazy impressive.
I brought that up on the preview show too. There's a little bit of TCU in this year's Washington, in that they're defensively, they're clearly a liability in spots, but offensively they find a way to win those moments. They just find a way to do it. And, we can look at spreadsheets till we're blue in the face, but at the end of the day, you either win the moments or you don't. TCU won them consistently a year ago. That's how they got to the national championship game. And Washington so far they've played a lot of close games here.
Yeah.
Over the back half of the season. There's no denying that. But the fact that now they are winning these games, they're winning these games on the road, they're going to go into the Pac-12 championship, maybe the playoff, and be perhaps the most battle-tested team out there. That says something about the character of the team and what Kalen DeBoer has built, what Michael Penix is leading on the offensive side.
God, that back shoulder throw that he has with Rome Odunze, there's nothing you can do.
No.
You can hope he is off. You can hope that there's a drop. You can hope that there's a gust of wind in the very opportune passing lane. They're just automatic together. It's so, so cool to watch, unless you're rooting for the team playing them, which I have before.
Yeah. Well, look, Oregon State, as you said, still a very, very solid team. And
yeah, they are.
I think it was very, very telling that the point spread was what it was. It kind of wobbled a little bit, right? Oregon State was favored by 2. I looked this morning. Washington was favored by 1. I remember saying on the preview, I don't get the point spread. I don't understand why it's this. I don't know if maybe Vegas knew about the weather or what it was, but they were right on. This was right on the money.
Mm-hmm.
Very easily could have gone one way or the other. So good on Washington, another big win. They find ways to get the job done. And it seems as if, barring any kind of catastrophe in the Apple Cup next week, we are on a collision course for another Oregon versus Washington rematch on Friday night before all of the games take center stage on Saturday.
Yeah.
Friday night Pac-12 championship. I'm sure you'll be a bundle of nerves for that one.
Mm-hmm.
In Vegas, yeah?
In Vegas, Washington has clinched a berth, and Oregon will clinch a berth with a win against the Beavers. But if Oregon State if Oregon State beats the Ducks and Arizona beats ASU, Arizona finds themselves via tiebreaker against Washington in a rematch of a different kind. So I think either way, we'll have a great Pac-12 championship game. It seems likely with the way, and we'll get to it, with the way Oregon dismantled ASU and that game against the Beavers being in Eugene, it seems likely that we're going to get the rematch that I think a lot of people want.